In what instances would you say it would make sense for someone when they're considering giving up or retreating in some way to actually do that?
I always have a sheet in my head, a piece of paper of all of the things I have to do in life. And I break that down into everything I can do in this situation. It's a list of exhausting all options. In that one situation, you have to go through every fucking scenario. You have to have tried everything to succeed. And then beyond that, think about how you can link up these two things on the list, because maybe these two things together will help me succeed. So once you go through the whole list, then you got to start pairing the things up within the list. And once you know in your heart, and this is called the accountability, way beyond some accountability mirror, that I've literally tried and exhausted every single option. That is when you say to yourself, maybe this is not for me. But nobody does that. So you, with this question, the answer is almost never. Because no one has the patience to sit in the muck, in the filth of life for years. It takes me years to do shit. Not like months. It takes me years. So people don't have that kind of patience, man. They just don't. So they never get to where they really want to go. They want it now. And now's not the answer.
And it's interesting. We had Tim Grover on the podcast, and he talks about the pain of discipline versus the pain of regret. From your perspective, any regrets looking back?
You know what? I have a lot of regrets. Most of my regret comes from when I was younger and I didn't have, I call it self. I didn't have self. And that means self-esteem, self-awareness, self-belief, self-motivation, self-discipline. So when you don't have that, you attract the people in your life that you're most like. And I was most like a loser. So I attracted a lot of fucking losers. And when you are in that mode of life and you're not around people getting up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning grinding, saying, come on, motherfucker, let's go. I'm not talking about the gym. I'm talking about when it comes to making money, when it comes to fucking anything. These people who are fucking just out of their mind obsessed. I didn't have that. I had people who were not waking up till 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, going to bed late, eating shitty foods, had no desires, had no goals, had nothing. And I sat there for too many years. And I got involved with people like that. I had relationships with people like that. And what happens is that becomes who you are. So my biggest regret is not building myself fast enough to not go through the beginning of my life in the dungeon. It took too long to come out of the dungeon, almost too long to where there would have never been a David Goggins. There is a time limit on everything, my friend. Everything has a fucking expiration date. There is no tomorrow. Some of us get granted a tomorrow, but there really is not one. I was lucky. And you never want to bring luck into your fucking life.
Yeah, I know you talk about this early on in your life. You'd read books or even magazines. You were fascinated by high achieving people. And I think in one of the examples, you're reading like a sports magazine, found that like the only thing you had in common with like Michael Jordan was your birthday, that you didn't have the talent, but you saw that they also had other skill sets. They had, they developed courage and grit and all these different things that you could perhaps harness and develop those characteristics. And then I think you even talk about through the book that like, man, if I had the talent, all of you would have been in trouble, in spite of everything that you've achieved.
Yeah, I see that right now, man, because I was able to achieve so much. And once again, people want to give me a title because it makes them feel better. And that's where my passion comes from. And you can hear it now, man. I fucking yell when I talk to people, man, because I go back to those moments where there was no talent. It was just try again, try again, try again. And that sucks, man. It builds an anger. It builds a fucking anger, man, when you see people just floating through life. But like you're going back to Michael Jordan. We're both born February 17th. Jim Brown, Great running back. February 17th. I was like, oh my God. And as I started getting older, I realized, man, I can't even dunk a fucking basketball. Man, I can't fucking run, man. My legs are all fucked up. I can't run a football. I'm not these guys. So that's when I started gravitating towards like the Crawfords, the people like that are in the book, just the normal everyday Joes. But they're not normal everyday Joes. What these guys had was courage, character, commitment, discipline. These are things that every human being can work on their own. You don't need talent. You need discipline. I was like, man, I have that. So I started gravitating more towards the everyday person that went way beyond. They went to that blue to black line I talk about in the book. That blue to black line where you reach greatness. And I started realizing that's what I can do. I can outwork a motherfucker. I can outwork everybody. That's what it takes. I can't dunk. But over here, everything that I want is over here in this fucking pile of shit. Hard work, dedication, sacrifice. I can do that. I can do that all fucking day long. I can get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can outwork you. That's where I found greatness over there.